I've never been a fan of clowns. Even as a kid, I found them unsettling. It wasn't just the painted-on smiles or the exaggerated features. It was the feeling that something wasn't quite right, that a real person was hiding behind a grotesque mask, and you had no idea who they were or what they were thinking. It's a common fear, I know. Coulrophobia. But for me, it became something much, much more than a simple phobia. It became my reality. It all started in my senior year of high school. It was a Tuesday evening, late October. The air was getting that crisp, cold bite to it, and the sun was setting earlier each day, casting long, eerie shadows across the school parking lot. I had stayed late for play rehearsal. By the time I walked out to my car, the lot was almost empty. The streetlights flickered on one by one, their orange glow doing little to push back the encroaching darkness. That's when I saw him for the first time. He was standing at the far end of the lot, near the woods that bordered the school property. Just standing there, motionless. He was a clown. Not a cute, circus-type clown, but one that looked like it had crawled out of a nightmare. He wore a dirty, ruffled collar and a baggy, once white suit stained with something dark. His face was painted stark white, with a garish red smile stretched unnaturally wide and two black triangles painted over his eyes. He was holding a single black balloon that bobbed gently in the evening breeze. My heart hammered against my ribs. I fumbled for my keys, my fingers clumsy and cold. I told myself it was just a prank. Halloween was a week away. Some idiot was trying to scare people. But the way he stood there, so perfectly still, just watching, it felt wrong. I jumped into my car, locked the doors, and peeled out of that parking lot without looking back. I tried to laugh it off on the drive home, my shaky laughter echoing in the empty car. Just a stupid prank. That's all it was. A few nights later, I was in my living room, trying to finish some homework. My parents were out for the evening, and the house was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the ticking of the grandfather clock in the hall. I got up to get a glass of water, and as I passed the front window, I glanced outside. My blood ran cold. He was there, standing across the street, under the flickering glow of a streetlight. The same clown, the same dirty suit, the same horrifying smile, the same single black balloon. He was just standing there, staring at my house, staring at my window. It was like he knew I was watching. My breath caught in my throat. I stumbled back from the window, my body trembling. I flicked off the lights and crawled on the floor to the phone, my hand shaking so badly I could barely dial 911. When the police arrived, he was gone. They swept the area with their flashlights, but there was no sign of him. No footprints, no balloon, nothing. They were polite but skeptical. They took my statement, told me to keep the doors locked, and left. They probably thought I was just a teenage girl with an overactive imagination. I knew what I saw. He wasn't just a prankster. He was watching me. The sightings stopped after that night, and, for a while, I almost convinced myself I had imagined it. Life went on. The play was a success. Halloween came and went, and the memory of the clown began to fade, like a bad dream you can't quite recall upon waking. But the fear never truly left. It lingered in the back of my mind, a cold knot of dread that would tighten whenever I was alone in the dark. The worst night came about a month later. I was asleep in my bed. I don't know what woke me up. Maybe it was a noise, or maybe it was just that primal sense of being watched. My room was dark, except for the faint moonlight filtering through my window. I lay there, my eyes slowly adjusting to the gloom, my heart thumping a slow, heavy rhythm. And then I saw it. A shape in the corner of my room, near the closet. A tall, slender silhouette, darker than the surrounding shadows. It was completely still. I held my breath, trying to convince myself it was just a pile of clothes on my chair, my mind playing tricks on me. But I knew it wasn't. The shape slowly began to move. It unfolded itself, rising to its full height. A sliver of moonlight caught a flash of white. A painted face. A wide, red smile. It was him. He was in my room. A scream was trapped in my throat, a silent, agonizing shriek. I was paralyzed, pinned to my bed by pure, unadulterated terror. How did he get in? The doors were locked, the windows were closed. He took a slow, deliberate step toward my bed. And another. He didn't make a sound. The only thing I could hear was the frantic, desperate pounding of my own heart. He reached the side of my bed and leaned over me. I could smell him then. A cloying, sweet smell of decay and old fabric. His face was inches from mine. The black paint around his eyes was cracked, and, in the faint light, I could see the real eyes beneath them dark, empty, and devoid of any human emotion. The red smile was smeared, as if he'd tried to wipe it off. He just stared at me, his head tilted slightly to one side. The silence stretched for an eternity. Then, he slowly raised a gloved hand and gently, almost tenderly, touched the single black balloon that was tied to my bedpost. I hadn't put it there. He had. He gave the string a little tug, making the balloon bob, and then he turned and walked silently out of my room. I heard my bedroom door click shut. I lay there, frozen, for what felt like hours, tears streaming down my face, too terrified to even breathe. When the sun finally came up, I screamed. I screamed until my throat was raw. My parents rushed in, and the police came again. They found my bedroom window unlocked, the screen slid open. But he was gone. We moved out a week later. I couldn't sleep in that room, in that house, ever again. I started seeing a therapist. I was diagnosed with PTSD. The nightmares were relentless. Years passed. I went to college in a different state, trying to put as much distance as I could between myself and that town, that house, that memory. I met my husband. We got married, and we built a life together. We had a son. For a long time, I felt safe. The clown became a ghost of my past, a terrifying story I tried to forget. I never told my husband the full details. How could I? It sounded insane. Then, last week, we were at a local park for my son's 6th birthday party. It was a beautiful, sunny day. Kids were laughing, running around, playing on the swings. There was a man there making balloon animals. All the kids were gathered around him, delighted. My son ran over to me, his face beaming, holding his prize. It was a single, black balloon. My smile froze. I felt the air leave my lungs. I looked over at the crowd of parents watching the balloon artist. And standing at the edge of the crowd, partially hidden behind a large oak tree, was a man. He wasn't in costume. He was just an ordinary-looking man middle-aged, with thinning hair and tired eyes. But he was staring right at me. And, as our eyes met, he slowly, deliberately, smiled. It was the same smile. That wide, unnatural, painted-on smile. It wasn't on his face, but it was in his eyes. He knew me. He gave me a small, almost imperceptible nod, then turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. He was never a clown. The clown was just a costume. The real monster was the man behind the makeup. And he found me. He knows where I live. He knows I have a son. And I know, with a certainty that chills me to my very soul, that this isn't over. The show is just beginning. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, or if it sent a chill down your spine, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what comes next.